She's now an advocate against domestic violence, hoping to create a home for victims here in Pensacola.
And when I turned back around, a shotgun was facing me and he shot me.
Williams was shot in the stomach, killing her unborn baby she had named Jamie.
She saved my life. You're not alone. You're not alone. And if I came out, you can come out.
Well, good evening and welcome to another edition of No More Silence. And I got my partner in crime here, Mrs. Carolyn Williams. Hello, Caroline. How are you?
Hello, Vernon. I am doing well. How are you doing?
I'm great. Another day and another month and another edition of No More Silence.
Yes. Vernon, before we get started, I want to thank you. I thank you for being a person that is concerned about domestic violence and allow me to have this show. I really, really appreciate that. You was at my, when I did my opening for Jamie's house. And I just want to thank you for everything that you do in the community. I really do appreciate this. And I want to salute you and thank you.
All right. Well, you know what I always say, Carolyn? Flattery will get you everywhere with me.
Oh, okay. I'm glad it's working then.
Yeah, it is obviously it's working, huh?
Oh my goodness. Okay, Vernon, so tonight, I want to give the people some resources that, that when I was in my domestic violence relationship, everyone was telling me that I need to come out, but they didn't tell me how to come out, and they did not tell me what resources was available in the community. I guess they really couldn't because we didn't have these resources during that time. But still, they probably had some resources that they can help me. But I want to encourage someone that is in a domestic violence relationship to let them know that usually when you're in that position, you think that there is no way out. You might have children and you are dependent on your abuser, whether or not it's your husband or someone you're in a relationship with, and you feel like you just cannot come out of that situation. You want to come out, but you think about, bills, where you're going to live, how you're going to make it. So I want to share with you tonight how you can come out and what you need to do when you do come out. And one of the things that you do need to do is, if you're thinking about coming out of that relationship, you need to make sure that you get a court order injunction of protection. And some people call that, back in my day, it was a restraining order. So when I had my divorce, before I went through the divorce process, Bernard, what I did was I made sure that I already had my restraining order in place, because I knew that my ex was going to be very upset when they told him that, he was going to have to pay child support for some children that was not his children. So I know that I need to have that injunction protection in order. And what it did was it protected me from him calling me, from coming to my house, from if I'm out somewhere. The judge told him, say, if Carolyn is out somewhere, and you're on one side of the street, you need to cross over on the other side of the street. And so when I got my injunction or protection or restraining order, when I received that, what happened was I noticed that a lot of women, they might say, well, it doesn't work. Someone applied for one and then they ended up getting killed. But it will not work for you. I'm not saying that the system don't make mistakes. I'm not saying that. But the only way something could work for you, you have to follow. You have to follow the procedures. You have to follow what the restraining order says. You cannot say, okay, I got this restraining order and I'm still going to talk to him on the phone. No, I cut off all communication. I didn't have no communication with them. During the time they didn't have text, but you can't text them. You can't be all on Facebook. You have to cut off all communication. If they call you, you don't need to take the call. Or either you need to change your number. But so many women, what happens is, Verna, they end up talking to them. And anyone that you talk to, what they're going to try to do is convince you to take them back because they're mad, they upset, they could not do what they planned to do. So you have to cut off that communication. And most women don't do that. They still allow them to talk to them and say, I'm so sorry, baby. I didn't mean to.
Well, Carolyn.
I didn't mean to. Yeah.
Now, if what isn't that a violation of the restraining order? Can you just invalidate your order just by having communication with them?
That's what you're doing. You are violating the restraining order. And when they know they have a restraining order out, what's going to happen is they're going to try to get in contact with you. And they're going to they're going to try to convince you to drop the restraining order. And the reason why they want you to drop the restraining order, because I want to be near you. I want to do whatever I want to do to kill you, to hurt you, and you don't call the police. But if a person have not went and seek help and they're not trying to better themselves and try to come out of, stop doing what they're doing, it's going to be the same old thing. So when you allow them to call you, and that's what most of them say, well, she was talking to me on the phone, she was doing it. You have violated the restraining order. So therefore, it's very difficult because people don't realize policemen, they are putting their life in danger also. So we hear all the time about policemen that they end up getting killed because they go out to a house and there's domestic violence. So what you're doing is you're not only putting your own life in jeopardy, you're putting those officers' lives in jeopardy also. So it's not fair to them if you're going to continue to talk to them from the jail, take their phone calls, and you're doing all this once you have a restraining order. And last year, Florida clerk of courts, they say that they had 80,319 restraining order injunction protection. I'm just going to call it restraining order. That's what they had that was that people had applied for in this state of Florida. And what you need to know is that when you apply for this injunction, first what you do is you request for a temporary injunction. And that's something that you want immediately. And that's what I applied for from the beginning. It was something that I applied for immediately, protection right away. I need this protection right away. So I went to the clerk of courts and I applied for that. Then later on, after they will have a hearing, you will go before a judge and there will be a hearing. And at the final hearing of the injunction, then that will establish to have a permanent injunction. And that's what I did. First, I got the temporary just to protect me. And then later on, I went and I got the permanent injunction. So that is the way that it works. So you have to make sure that if you get a temporary and you don't go back to court, that temporary only lasts for a certain amount of time. And that's why some people say, well, they had an injunction, they had this, but it only lasts, it's only temporary. And they don't follow up, Verna, and they don't go to court. So if you don't go to court and you don't go to court, then the judge can't do anything. So that is the next step, and that's what most people do. They just do the temporary, and then they end up getting back with their abuser, and so they don't follow through. And so what happens is that is the time when they know that you have an injunction on them. What's going to happen is they're going to make sure that they hurt you real bad. 9 times out of 10, you end up being killed.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Well, I tell you, Carolyn, that certainly is often happen more times than we want to think about it. And so shows like this is just to try to help educate people as well as warn them. And what I like about this show is that I'm not talking about something that I heard. You getting it from the horse's mouth. Okay. You getting it from a person that's been there and done that, experienced that, and learned from that, from her mistakes. And we know it's not easy being a victim. We all know that. And that's why we don't try to victimize or try to shame the victim, because they are in a situation whereas that they themselves are is a victim of Stockholm syndrome, basically. And and if that's not the case, then they are a victim of being helplessness, because one of the things that abusers do is they isolate people and they create a dependency on them so that you can't leave or you won't leave because you need them. And then they cut communication with everybody else in the outside world so that they can't influence you. So if you're in those kinds of situations, those are some red flags. I know you had to show the last week. You had to show. You even had the flags about red.
I have a flag.
Tell us some more of those red flags that these women should, and men too. But more predominantly women that experience that. But men experience some of the things, but not to the degree as women do. But what were some of those red flags you were waving last week about? Last month you were telling these ladies to look out for.
Well, Vernon, it's 1 in 3 women would encounter that are in an abusive relationship, and 1 in 4 men are in an abusive relationship. So whenever I go somewhere, I'm like, count 1 in 3. Okay, someone is among you. If you're in your church, or you're at a conference, or either at work, there is someone there that is in a abusive relationship. And you have to be able to recognize those red flags. Women take it as, oh, this is somebody that care about me. He don't want me around my family, and he whining and dining me. And he really loved me, and he calls me all the time. Every 15 minutes or every 30 minutes, he has called me. Red flag. He wants to know where I'm going. He's just very concerned about me. And really the Bible calls those silly women. You need to have, and I was one of them. I'm not downing you, because I was one of them until I learned that information. But now I am a single woman, and I can tell when a man approaching me and they're coming on, I can tell whether or not they are abusive man by their conversation. And I know not to fall for the charm. I don't have to anymore. I don't need a man in my life to take care of me. That's what I needed before. But it is a price to pay. It is a price to pay when you are so thirsty and so hungry for a man to take care of you. You will just grab the first thing that comes along. It is a price to pay. Single men as well as single women. So you have to know that if you're in that predicament, if you're in a domestic violence relationship, there is a way that you can come out. There is assistance for you as far as finances. If you need medical expense, you have medical expense, you have dental expense, you can even get mental health counseling, not just for you, but also for your children if you have children. And this is free, Vernon. It doesn't cost you not one dime. And say you're going through a domestic violence relationship and it's causing you where you cannot work. You have a job, but you have to miss so many days off work and you're afraid to go to work because he said that he's going to come on your job. If you lose wages, listen, there is money available for you if you lose wages. If disability, there is disability allowance. There's also, I see a lot of people that when someone get killed in a domestic violence relationship, and I didn't know this before because I used to give to the GoFundMe because my heart goes out to those that have gotten killed in a domestic violence relationship. Listen here, there is funeral and burial expense free if a loved one get killed in a domestic violence relationship. There is, say, property loss. You lost your property, the things that you had, you lost it because of domestic violence relationship. You're in that relationship. They even have funds available where you can relocate. You say, okay, I need to get out of this town. I need to get out of Pensacola. I need to get out of Alabama, wherever you may be listening to this broadcast or wherever you live. And you say, I need to leave. There is money available. But what you need to do is you need to apply for it. So if you have a crime and you're in a domestic violence relationship, you have 120 hours to be able to apply for it. So if it's over that time, and you have to file within 3 years, but if it's over that time, you can still receive the money and whatever services you need if you can prove why it was a delay, why you did not go ahead on and file. And there's also, this victim must be fully cooperate with law enforcement, the state attorney's office, and of the attorney general. Okay, you can't say I want this money and you didn't show up in court. No, they're not going. This is not something that you can commit a scheme and you say, okay, I'm going to pretend like I'm going to leave and I'm going to get this money. No. That is not going to work. You have to cooperate. Whatever they tell you, law enforcement, whatever the state's attorney office tell you or the attorney general office tell you, you need to abide by and do what they're telling you to do. You don't need to engage in any unlawful activity. Say you're in this domestic violence relationship and you're selling drugs or you're writing checks. You cannot be involved in any unlawful activity. And you must not have contributed to his or her injuries. So what happens is some people, what they do is they will, in order to get the money, they will put injuries on themselves to be able to prove that, yeah, he did this to me. Some people are just lying and they want to scheme. This is not what it is all about. And like I said, you can be relocated. So in order for you to do that, you need to go to the website. The website is myfloridaLegal.com. I'm going to say that again. It's myfloridaLegal.com. That's the Bureau of Victim Compensation. And the phone number is 1-800-226-6667. And also we have someone local here at I don't know the young lady's name at the sheriff department, but at the Pensacola Police Department, we have Tara Spencer. Tara Spencer. You can contact her at the Pensacola Police Department, and she will be able to help you to be able to lead you and guide you on what you need to be able to, and what you need to do in order to get these resources. And also we have a place here, it's on Palafox Street, and it's called Legal Services. And what happens is at Legal Services, you are able to receive an attorney. It will not cost you one dime. You will be able to get an attorney, and that's at 1741 North Palafoss Street. And the phone number is 432-8222. And that's at 1741 North Palafoss Street, 432-2222. And if you're in Okaloosa or Walton County, it's at, you can go to 133 Staff Drive Northeast, and that's in Fort Walton Beach. And the phone number is 850-862-3279. So what, because the reason why I'm telling you this is that you first have to have a made up mind. And Verna, I've said this before, sometimes it takes 7 times for a person to leave. So those that are dealing with people that are in domestic violence, don't say, I ain't gonna help them no more. But I helped them 2 times, or I helped them 3 times, and they went back. No. You never know when they have made up their mind and they really want to come out. So you can't just turn your back on them. You just say, you know what? When you're ready, I am here to help you. And if you really want to come out, what I do now, Vernon, even with Jamie's house, what I do now is I say, if you really want to come out, then the first thing I need you to do is I need you to call the domestic violence hotline, 1-800-799-7233. Or either if you're local, I want you to call Favor House. That's 850-434-1177. But I want you to know that I was born at night, but it wasn't last night. So I know how to get in contact with these people and see if you made the phone call. Because I have some people that say, well, yeah, I made the phone call, and I call and I do I go behind them and just to check and see a follow-up. I do a follow-up and come to find out they have not really made the phone call. And you might say, you know what? I'm not ready to come out yet. That's fine. But get the information. So when you need it, you can come out. And then you also can call, go on the website, www.jamieshouse.org. And that is for a family, a woman that have children that wants to get out of that relationship and they need a place to stay. Free? No. If you have income coming in, or if you don't have any income, I'm going to help you to be able to get income, to get an employment. This is not somewhere where you're going to just sleep all day and you're not going to do anything. This is something to give you a hand up, not a hand out. And you also can text the number to 850-291-4624. And Verna, what I learned is some people may say that's hard, but I learned that I can't have them dependent on me. I can't have them dependent on Jamie's house. What I'm trying to get them to do is to be where they're independent, because they've been in that dependent stage for so long. And when people get in that predicament, they're always looking for somebody to give them something instead of bettering themselves.
Carolyn, one of the things that you talk about all those services that is available to them. Now, I understand also if you're a victim, I'm hoping you can hear me. You can hear me? Also, if you're a victim of the domestic violence, you skip ahead of the line. You don't have to stand in line for these programs. Is that right? I heard that. Is that true or not?
Yeah, you automatically get those services. Well, say I need food stamp, or I need this. It's gonna wait before they process my application. It's gonna be a while before they process it. In other words, then I gotta wait before I can get some food stamps in. But when you're in a domestic violence relationship, you automatically get yours right away. But You have to have the documentation. You just can't walk into the food stamp office and say, you know what? I'm in a domestic violence relationship and I need to say you need child care and you're working and you need child care. And that's going to be expensive for you because before you and your husband, you was able to pay for it or whatever, he watched the kids. You will automatically get those certs, but you have to have documentation. That's why I'm talking to you about the restraining order. That's why I'm talking to you about the police report. But you really need that restraining order. And so, in other words, if you drop that restraining order and you get in these services, the people don't understand, Verna. The computer system is always connected to one server now. Yeah. So if you decide to drop it, they can tell you dropped it. So don't try to play those games because you end up having to pay money back that you normally would not have, but because you're trying to scheme. So this is not something that you can scheme about. And people are always looking for a way to get over.
Right. Okay. All right, Carolyn, we only got about a minute or so left, so I'm gonna let you recap everything and let folks know what you want them to know that you hadn't already talked about. Okay. Okay.
What I want you to know is this: when I was going through my domestic violence, they did not have these services. They did not. I didn't know what to do. And when you don't know what to do and you don't have that information, knowledge, you just stay there. You think that there is no way out. He told me he was going to kill me. I did not believe that. And then he ended up shooting me when I was 7.5 months pregnant. But now you don't have to go through that. There is too many services and stuff and information and resources out there for you to be able to make it. But the resources are not going to come to you. You have to make that step and say, you know what? I'm going to do it even if I'm afraid. So you don't need to tell him what you're doing. You need to keep it silent about what you're doing. You don't need to put it on Facebook. You have to be careful who you're sharing it with. And we get to the point that we just tell all our business on Facebook. And what he's doing is he is monitoring your Facebook page. So you need to just, me personally, I would just shut it down. So there is resources. I have given you the phone number. If you want to come out, you can contact the state's attorney's office at 1-800-226-6667. And if you don't have this information, you can contact me at 850-291-4624. You can contact domestic violence hotline, 1-800-799-7233, and Favor House, 850-434-1177. So if you know anyone that is in a domestic violence relationship and they have not heard this broadcast, you need to share this with them. You need to tell them, you need to tune in to No More Silence. You need to tune into No More Silence and see a woman that was able to come out, not only able to come out, had her own business, master's degree, and working on something else and able to make it.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, Carolyn. Time flies. I'm telling you. And so tell them again when to pick up the show again.
Okay, we'll be on the 4th Thursday. Sometimes we come on, if it's a 5th Thursday, we come on the 5th Thursday. And if you want to be a sponsor, if you want to support this and you want to be a sponsor, then you can contact me and you could be a sponsor and we will announce whatever program or ministry you have on the air. So if you would like to be a sponsor, just give me a call and let me know and we'll be happy. If you want to donate to Jamie's House, it's $ Jamie's House 20. All right, that's it. That's a wrap.
All right, Carolyn, thank you. And we'll see you again next month, okay?
All right. Thank you, Vernon.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.